So today I'm going to unbox and install shutters in our bedroom, in our master bedroom. The shutters are from Shutter Store. I've sorted out the 3 boxes for this room. They're all really well labelled. These are the screw covers, top and bottom rails. So the way that these frames join together, so they use these things here, they're called bow ties. So there's a cutout, obviously this one's been put into the frame, and then this is the sides, so they've got the cutouts ready to accept the other half of the bow tie. The bit with the bow tie goes, that gets hidden from your view from inside the room, so that will go towards the frame, and the hinge sits inside the room. This is where the fixings go, and then there's a strip to cover that up. So this is the top and bottom rail. As you can see, the top one has got a T and the bottom one's got a B. So now I'm just going to put the corners together using these bow ties. Something you'll definitely need, which no one tells you about when you buy these, is frame packers. I found these ones in Wickes. They're different thicknesses and they're much easier to snap off when you finish with them. Something else that you'll definitely need, I've cut these pieces of wood so that I can put the back of the frame against it, so I know for sure that the handle will not hit the back of the shutters. So what I've done is cut these two pieces of wood, I believe 30mm, so I can push the frame up against the pieces of wood, and I know for sure that the shutters are going to clear the handles. The next thing you need to do is, if you look at the bottom, I've got no gap, and if you look at the top, there's about a 5mm gap. So what I need to do is I need to share that gap between the top and the bottom using the packers. So because it's a 5mm gap, I need to pack up the bottom by about 2.5mm, and then I'll do exactly the same on the left and the right. You can see here where the screw holes are. I'm just going to put them just off to the side of that, so that when I put the screw in and pull it tight, it doesn't bend the frame. I'm going to put to the other end as well at the bottom, just the other side of the screw hole again. I've got my packers in place here. I'm going to push it right back, and then at the top I'm just going to try with the 3mm. 3mm's a little bit loose, so I'm going to put it with a 1mm, and that is nice. That slides in there lovely. It's just how I want it, tight but not too tight. Again, I'm going to put them near to the screw holes so that when I screw in it, it doesn't bend the frame. I'm going to get my packer from the bottom and put it at the top. And then I'm going to do exactly the same on the sides. Okay, so I've got 10mm on the left and a 6 and a 3 on the right. But they're sliding in there really nice and snug. So that's holding the frame in place with no screws or anything. That's exactly where I want the frame to be. So it's packed at the bottom, it's packed at the top, both sides. It's in position and it's wedged, so it can't move now. And my next step, I've got this screwdriver, which luckily fits exactly in the hole, so you just need a brad awl or something. So you just push it through straight, give it a little tap so it marks the wall. This is just to put a dot on in the plasterboard, so I can take the frame out and drill a hole. Do every single hole. Okay, so now I've marked all the holes. I just need to remove the packers, so remember what packers go where. I'll drop the frame out of the way just by holding it just on the top, not on the sides, that way, and keep it square, because if you don't, then the corners break off. These are the marks. So what I'm going to do now is just drill. I'm going to use a normal drill bit just because it's plasterboard. I know it's plasterboard, so it's only for a raw plug. The next stage, now I've drilled all the holes, I'm going to use Fisher Duo Power raw plugs in each hole, so you just cautiously push it in, give it a tap with a hammer. Now I've got my holes and the raw plugs in, just put the frame back in, back into where it was. Look at my blocks, my packers. Remember I put two yellow ones underneath. And I'll get my packer again. Make sure it's in the right place so that the screw should now line up exactly with the hole, because I've got it exactly the same place as it was before when I packed it. So the screws are the ones in the pack that came with it, which are the black ones. So ideally you need to place a packer behind or very close to every screw so that the frame doesn't bend. Okay, so now it's all screwed in. So you just peel the backing off of these screw covers and put the corner in first, then the top corner, and then you just push it in place and it sticks to the screw heads and hides the screws. So you just line up these two hinges like that, and then you just drop the pin in from the top and just wiggle it, and same with the top one. Stars to have an invisible split at this height where the bar is, so that we can still have light coming in at the top and privacy at the bottom, or we can have both open. Okay, so on the left side there's a hinge. We have the hinge for this shutter, and then on this end there's another lip here with another hinge for the second door to attach to. So the next step, if you look at the bottom, there's no gap at all, and then at the top there's a gap of about, I'd say 3 or 4 mil between the shutter and the frame. So to adjust that so that it's in the centre, what I need to do is open these up, and these hinges have an elongated hole, and you can see that the screw is right at the top of the elongated part. So I need to loosen off these two screws, raise it up by a couple of mil, and tighten them back, and then put the final screw in this one to lock it. So I've just slid the shutter up and tightened up the screws, but I haven't put the lock one in yet because I just want to double check that the gap's even, which is perfect now. It's level top and bottom. So now I can just put that centre locking screw in, and that will lock it in place so it doesn't move over time. So they're in now, the frames are fitted, I've siliconed around the edges, evened up all the gaps on the hinges, that's pretty much it. It's fairly straightforward to fit, it's very minimal tools. Probably, if I hadn't have videoed it, probably would have only taken me an hour to fit. We got these particular ones from the Shutter store.